Greetings and salutations, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Warfare. I'm your host, XLJ, the OG from Cold TV, and we got a very special episode for you today of Fantasy Warfare. This one's going to be a little bit different than what we've done before in the past, but I think you guys are going to dig it. Of course, joining me today is two of the most beautiful people on Wrestle Talk today. We have the lovely Chrissy, Tina, and Pat, the Wiseman. How are you both doing today?
We're doing good. Well, I'm doing good. I don't know how Pat's doing at this point.
I'm doing well, Jeremy. Thank you. I'm glad that you recognize that I am the most beautiful man on TikTok. Top three over there somewhere. She's in the conversation, but as far as the far and away number one.
You both are number one in my heart, so I'm just saying. Well, this is going to be a fun one today because, of course, WrestleMania is upon us. It is WrestleMania season, and we are going to do a WrestleMania-themed episode of Fantasy Warfare. Now, what that actually entails is we are actually going to build a card of past WrestleMania matches. That's right. So we're going to be talking about some of the great WrestleMania matches of the past, as well as talking about some of the other, not only main events, but some of the mid-card matches, openers, and so much more. This episode, it's going to feel like, with how close you both are, it's like almost a sibling rivalry, so to speak. Let's just hope this matchup doesn't turn out like Jimmy and Jay from last year at WrestleMania, and more like Owen and Brett from WrestleMania 10.
I can't stand Pat, but honestly, we would be able to work a little bit better than that Jimmy and Jay match from last year. So I think we can have a little bit more credit than that.
Yes.
At least on my end, I can't say to him.
I mean, if it does go the route of Jimmy and Jay, I would end up being Jay, who's actually prominent, and she would be Jimmy.
Wow, that's so funny for someone whose nickname is Main Event. Who has a main? Oh, that's right. You don't. So that also would make sense for you as well.
That is the retort. Ooh, think they're getting spicy, and I like it. Well, let's get right into it as we are going to build your dream WrestleMania cards. And Chrissy, I will start with you. Let's kick things off. Do you have like a now normally we would have like a name or a theme or something like that, but obviously we know it's WrestleMania. But I will ask you this: do you have a dream fantasy location in mind where you would host your WrestleMania?
I already knew that Pat was going to play the teacher's pet, so I came prepared. So my location is Madison Square Garden.
Love it.
Obviously, I had to take it home. And yeah, dream commentary team is Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. My dream commentary team will always be Jim Ross and Paul Heyman. And yeah, I figure that not everyone can handle New York, but the real diehards, if they're willing to make the trip out there, they deserve to see the amazing card that I have in store. So if they're willing to, get jumped on the train and stabbed, then I might as well make sure that they go home happy,
Hey, man, it's the Garden. So, yes, I would totally do it. Yeah, I'm there. And I wouldn't necessarily come for anything else, but it's the Garden. Oh, the hallowed halls of the Garden. Yeah, they'd be calling. All right, Chrissy, what is kicking off your dream WrestleMania card from Madison Square Garden?
So my card is completely filled with heavy hitters. So it was incredibly difficult to decide which one was going to be the first match of the night. But I figure something to really grab the crowd's attention, make sure that they're in their seats and stay there throughout the entire duration. So my opening match is TLC 2 from Mania 17.
Ooh, you are coming out swinging, girl. And I like it. Oh,
I'm playing no games today, XL. I'm playing no games today.
Yes. That would have gone down if they had ever done that as an opener. That probably would have gone down as the greatest WrestleMania opener of all time. No doubt about it. I mean, TLC 2, we've all talked about it and love it dearly. I mean, just the car crash of a matchup that was. I mean, the fact of the matter is, folks, a lot of people always say, WrestleMania 17 is the best WrestleMania of all time, the greatest WrestleMania of all time. And what's the match people talk about most on the card? It's this one right here. And you literally are kicking off your show with little tables, ladders, and chairs too. Like absolutely adore that. We didn't talk about this beforehand, and I may throw y'all a curveball here, and I apologize. But would you change the outcome of this matchup?
Honestly, with this particular matchup, with heel Edge and Christian going over the way that they did, and Edge and Christian having the incredibly important stamp that they did on WWE history, them showing that you can be a comedy act and you can still have that aspect to you. You can still engage with the crowd. You can still have those moments and still have amazing matches. They showed their versatility when it came to that particular part in their careers, both as a tag team and both as individuals, which is why I think that we end up with the Edge and the Christian that we have now as individuals in AEW, with Christian probably having one of the best runs of his career, persona non grata, and Edge going down as Edge, so much so to the point where people still call him Edge at his new job. And you take that with you. You take those moments with you. And it's influenced the lower class weights of wrestlers that came after them. It's influenced the tag team division after them. And I really think that that match could not have gone any other way than the way that it did.
Yeah, I think that is a perfect explanation. Because I mean, it's hard to see anybody. I think that I remember as a fan back in the day, that specific time frame, how everybody loved the fucking Hardy Boys. They were the most over freaking tag team. So I think a lot of people were clamoring for a Hardy Boys win. Alas, it didn't happen. But I totally, I think you're right. I think I agree with you. I think ENC's got to get the W in this one. So, all right, Pat, my friend Pat.
Yes, sir.
Where would your card be? Any special nuances you would like to mention? Commentary team, etc., etc.
So, you know me. I tend to be a little bit extra, do things a little, go above and beyond the Call of Duty, if you will. But like my opponent here, I also decided to bring it home. WrestleMania will be taking place in Dallas at AT&T Stadium with the
It's
roof
not even where you
open.
live, Patrick. You live in
It's-
Corpus Christi.
Look, just don't you live in Jersey? And
I was born in New York.
where do you live? Thank you. Stop talking. It's my turn. Anyways, my WrestleMania will be taking place at AT&T Stadium, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Jerry World, if you will. For my commentary team, I considered the same. I considered Paul and JR, but just in the past couple of years, the nuance, the almost shift in his commentary almost seems that he's having a lot of fun, and it makes the product more enjoyable. I have chosen to go with Michael Cole and Corey Graves as my commentary team. I think they have a great playoff dynamic. We can have a special guest spot for Pat somewhere halfway in if we want. But I feel like Corey's doesn't get a lot of the shine that he deserves. I'm a big proprietor of Corey Graves. I think he does great things behind the commentary desk. I have also thrown in my in-ring announcer will be the lovely Samantha Irvin, returning to the mic to call the shots and introduce all of our lovely contestants. And just as an added caveat, when the pyro goes up and we welcome everyone to the granddaddy of them all of WrestleMania, America the Beautiful will be sang by Aretha Franklin.
Oh, yes.
I told you he's a teacher's pet. I told you he's a teacher's pet. It's like insane.
But that's so good. That's like easily. I think Aretha's did the best kicking off any WrestleMania, in my opinion.
Aretha, I thought I considered Ray Charles did a great rendition, but
yeah,
I had to go classic. Went with my girl Aretha, and
it was either Aretha or Rockin' Robin. So I totally get it, bro.
Fair. Or the DX band. Yeah. But
Man.
speaking of Aretha being my girl, I'm opening up the show with the ladies. I want the ladies to get the opener. As they say, it's all if you're not going to be the main event, you want to open the show. So my opening match is Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks.
Oh snap. Man, you know what's funny? I just rewatched that one recently because I'm trying to go through and watch all these manias. And God, was that so fucking good.
It's
Like
it's it's such a it's such a moment for both Sasha and Bianca, because we had gotten the three horsewomen before and everything like that, but this match just the dynamic and the counterbalance of styles between Sasha and Bianca just played so well. You know, Bianca being the powerhouse, Sasha being, you know, the more agile, almost, even though there's not technically a cruiserweight division of the women, she's the smaller, you know, faster one. And it's such a good match. It's probably my favorite women's WrestleMania match if I really had to break it down and get to it, but it's just good. It's just a good match. And so I wanted to open up with the ladies and I wanted to pick a banger. So for my opening match, I got Sasha and Bianca. And no, I would not change the outcome. Bianca deserved that
yeah.
win. It was great seeing her. I think it was her brother or her father jump over the guardrail, which got the win. It's good, man. It's just good. No disrespect to Becky or Charlotte or anybody else, but it had to go to Bianca and Sasha.
You know, it's one of those things where a match like that went more than just being a pro wrestling match. I mean, culturally, that match was so significant for a multitude of reasons. Of course, yes, first women's main event with two African American women, absolutely. But in addition to that, think of the time frame when that all took place. Like that was like the first crowd back
Yeah.
from being like gone for over a year. And that's was like, okay, this is what's going to cap off the first show. And you couldn't have done it any better. You could have scripted it any better. Like, I mean, it was just the chef's kiss. It was like, it was what we needed. It'd been like over a year for us diehard wrestling fans to truly like see a caliber of a matchup like that. Because I mean, let's face facts. We went through the pandemic and there was some stuff that was all right, but I mean, nobody's really going back and watching that stuff. You know what I mean? Because I mean, the crowd not being there was so instrumental. So yeah, that match is very special for a multitude of reasons. So
Absolutely.
well, both of you guys are kicking it off here pretty strong. Pat, I'll stay with you, buddy. What's following up Bianca and Sasha? What's your second match at AT&T Stadium?
My second match at AT&T Stadium for my WrestleMania, you alluded to it earlier. It is WrestleMania 10. Owen Hart versus Bret Hart.
Mm.
I love it's to this day the greatest brother rivalry of all time. Sorry, Jimmy and Jay. Sorry, Dustin and Cody. Just it doesn't come close. And it's, you know, growing up just like Chrissy, I was an HBK guy, and it was very very strange because I I was rooting for Brett, and I felt like my small brain was like I should be rooting for Owen in this because I'm a Sean guy and not a Brett guy, but Owen was just so good at just being a dick, man. He was so good at being an asshole that you just, you know, it's always good in wrestling when someone is so good at their job that you just genuinely have disdain for them. And Owen was one of those guys, man. And so this match is it's just good, man. It's good technical style. There's not a lot of flash and flair, but the Hearts didn't need flash and flair to be good. It really wasn't. It's just good, solid wrestling. And that I mean that in the most traditional sense. It's good, solid wrestling. It's not sports entertainment in that aspect. It's good, solid wrestling. And so for that, that's going to be my second match.
Yeah, I mean, it was a technical masterpiece, but also the story behind it too, as well. Just like the months. I remember as a kid, man, I was so invested in that because, as you know, I'm a Brett guy. and that was just like the first kind of like real big rivalry of his that I truly was like, this is some serious stuff, man. We're touching on some reality here, folks. So, um, would you change any of the outcome? Keep it the same? It's okay because I totally would. I'm a Brett guy, but I mean, totally, I would keep Owen the winner.
That's a yeah. I think I'd
You got,
still keep Owen. Like
yeah,
I understand that it played into the second match that Brett had, but even in this, I don't spoilers. I don't have Brett's second match from that night on the card, but I just think for the storyline purposes and just how it works, I think just Owen needs to win this one.
100% agree, man. I mean, for the storyline purposes alone, yep, that's how it's got to be. All right, Chrissy, we're coming back to you to the garden. What is your second match on your Dream WrestleMania card?
When I tell you this best friend telepathy bullshit is really fucking annoying, XLJ, I tell you it's annoying. Because just like how Pat has a workhorse match as his second on the card, so do I. And this is going to be incredibly controversial. And I want everyone to keep in mind that this is the character and not the person. My second match is Angle Benoit Mania 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's totally get what you're saying there, but that is a technical masterpiece. Matter of fact, recently we did an episode of Learning the Ropes where we did hidden gem matches, and that was one of the matches I mentioned. So, yeah, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate what happened in real life with Benoit, but you can't deny this matchup. I mean, this matchup is just like this is once again and another one from WrestleMania 17. So are you Chris? Are you doing WrestleMania 17 at the Garden? Is that what we're doing here?
You would think so, but my third match is going to allude to something a little bit different.
Ah, I
I
got
mean,
you. I
I
got
wouldn't
you.
be surprised if she just copy and pasted the whole card, just lazily threw it in there.
I mean, let's be honest, Pat. Every time that you've done this show, you usually call me beforehand. So if there's anyone that's familiar with copying pasting, babe, it's you.
Every time I've done this show, the one time I've done it,
And the one
yeah,
time you won, right? Because
yeah,
I know you're
and
not used to doing that, but the times that you do win, I'm usually connected. So let's not do that on camera. We need to keep it together for the sake of XLJ's sake,
okay.
please.
We can just, if you want to break down kayfabe, we can. I called you, and all you said was, "Well, what do you think?" And then I came up with the entire card myself, and you said, "Yeah, that's good."
It's okay,
Like
babe. I got screenshots, babe. I got screenshots. It's
it was a video
fine.
call. Genius. Yeah. Uh huh.
Well, this is
But
getting
yeah, that match, I was never much into technical wrestling growing up. I grew up with wrestling very much as a soap opera. I grew up in a Latin household watching wrestling. If there's anything that me and Pat can definitely vibe on, it's growing up in a Latin household watching wrestling. And my grandmother always watched it for the sake of it being a telenovela. And it wasn't until Kurt and Benoit started showing their faces more on screen where I started really being able to appreciate the technicality of professional wrestling. And Kurt Angle has such an amazing career that he can afford to be a Mount Rushmore all unto himself, just based off the different personas that he's exuded throughout the years. And it's insane that that man is still able to go and still can have these moments with the fans where he can impede his knowledge onto everybody. And once again, going strictly based off of the character, Benoit was a huge part of my childhood when it came to loving wrestling and learning how to love wrestling, especially with his connections with Eddie and Batista and Ray. So that group of gentlemen really have a very specific place in my heart. And unfortunately, real life comes around and rears its ugly head. But when I can afford to live in the delusional land that is strictly kayfabe, this match is 5 stars, no notes.
Yeah, I was one of those. I'm right there with you, Christy. Like I grew up in that era as well with just like loving those guys, and I've said it and went on record before. Benoit was my guy. Like he was one of my favorites. Well, hell, he was my favorite. And then like it's still to this day it's hard to talk about. And definitely don't condone anything that he did and how that all tragically went down. But when you look at like just in-ring work, it's hard not to look away. Let's put it that way. So, well, excellent WrestleMania matches you got here. But you mentioned you're going to switch things around here a little bit, so let's just kind of keep with you. What's following Angle and Benoit?
Well, since everyone's trying to butter you up, XLJ, I figured I might as well throw a heart in there somewhere. And this one is my personal favorite, as per the shirt that I'm wearing. It's Austin Hart, Mania 13.
The
It's Austin
recently
Hart, Mania 13.
announced Hall of Famer, first Hall of Fame match
As
ever
it really
going
should
in.
be.
Mhm.
As it really should be. That match has probably one of the best still images in wrestling history with Austin with the Crimson Mask. And I really think that particular shot is what made people realize just how visually striking wrestling can be. If you appreciate it in the way that it's meant to be appreciated, and we've had that ever since. And that's one of the biggest images that people remember when it comes to professional wrestling is that moment. And me personally, Heart still goes over. Heart still goes over only because Austin doesn't have the catapult to his career that he does if he does not pass out in the middle of the holds. If he were to win, it would not have the same effect. Austin would still be Austin. I just think it would have taken him a little bit longer to get there. But that moment of him not tapping and being willing to pass out instead of quit, that goes to show just the kind of performer that Austin was, is, and will continue to be. And that's why that's that match for me. That's why that has that slot.
It is one of the most pivotal matches in not only WrestleMania and the WWE, but in all professional wrestling history. I mean, when you have the double turn like that, and they did it textbook almost. Uh, and here's the thing: the fact of the matter is, like, the WWE just started doing to where they're going to put matches in the Hall of Fame, and the very first one they do is this one. I mean, that speaks volumes. I mean, Steve Austin's went on record and said like this is the match that put him on the map. I mean, you think about like trajectories and where things would go and stuff would happen. And like you say, Chrissy, I think Austin would have got there, but I don't think he would have got there as soon as he did. Because I mean, this match literally made him a bona fide superstar. I mean, like you said, the imagery alone of Austin, like with the blood pouring down and just oh my god, so good, so good. Um, yeah,
Shout out
that
to
is
Ken Shamrock and his unnecessarily small shorts.
little biker shorts. It's the world's most dangerous man wearing the world's
Listen,
most
baby,
shortest
Hoochie
shorts.
Daddy season's upon us. Hoochie Daddy season is upon us, and I, for one, cannot wait.
I
he
can't do the short shorts. My legs are too hairy. I can't do
he
it.
was ready for bare something, but I don't know if it's bare knuckle shuffling. If you know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. All right, Pat, coming back to you, my friend. What is the third match coming to us from Jerryland?
Well, speaking of best friend telepathy, like a motherfucker, it comes to rear its ugly head again, Chrissy, because my next match is TLC 2.
Ah,
God damn it. Every fucking time.
you know
Every
what?
fucking time.
You know what though? It speaks once again. It speaks volumes because the fact of the matter is like how popular that match is. The fact that you both had that match on your card, and we're literally talking about over 40 WrestleManias to choose from, like over 100 plus matches, definitely more than that. But and the fact of the matter is, like, you only get narrowed down to 8, and you both choose TLC two. That's pretty damn
Yeah,
impressive.
it's such a even more than just the spots, the spear, the table crash, like everything, like just the match in general, the rivalry in general between the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. Like it left such an imprint on wrestling. Everybody wanted to be the Hardys, wanted to be the Dudleys. I remember wrestling in the front yard with my cousins, you know, doing a swanton off of a tree, you know, taking a 3D onto a mattress. Like it was so just, I hate to say inspirational, but it really was. Like so many kids injured themselves trying to be those three tag teams. Um, I I was a big Edge and Christian fan. I liked the Hardys. I did. I'll fully admit I was doing Twisted Fates and Swantons on, you know, my pillows and shit like that when I was a kid. But the for the benefits of flash photography, the kazoo, the one of my favorite things is a random backstage session that they're having, and Edge is sitting at a table and he has his feet up, like crossed up there, and he tells Christian, he's all, "Hey Christian, take a look at my boots. They say Edge." He's all, "That's awesome, man." And it's just the most random, just esoteric conversations between them. The combination of when they added Kurt and they were Team Eck, and the invention of the jug band and the Fat Elvises. I loved Edge and Christian so much, and I still love Edge and Christian, or Cope and Christian, whatever the hell you want to call them these days. But so I'm not changing the finish. I'm not changing. The only thing I would change about that match at all is Jeff Hardy doesn't fuck up the spot running across the ladders. He makes it, and he gets that spot. Other than that, keep the match exactly how it is. And again, best friend telepathy, despite how much she irks my nerves, we still manage to have two halves of a similar brain. So for that reason, TLC 2 is my next match.
All right. Well, let's stick with you here. What is the fourth match on your card?
For the next match on my card, also, I guess would be considered a technical masterpiece, but it's probably one of, if not the greatest technical masterpiece of a match at WrestleMania in history. For my next match, I have Randy Savage versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 3. The only good match on that card. Fight me, people. Fuck Hogan and Andre. Not actually Andre. Rest in peace. You're great. Fuck Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
I just got through watching Princess Bride. Like, we love Andre in this household.
Oh God, I love Andre. Oh man, Andre is
So
such
good,
a.
man.
Oh man. But yes, you're absolutely right. This match is the marquee matchup. This is a match. This was the first true WrestleMania match, I think. Because I mean, we've known some of these matches, and you guys have mentioned several of them already, of just these like iconic, once in a lifetime matchups. And this is realistically, this set the bar. This set the bar for like, oh shit, this is the type of match you need to be having at WrestleMania, is a Savage and Steamboat.
Yeah,
An all-time classic.
it's one of those matches. I feel like it really gave the moniker of the workhorse title to the Intercontinental Championship. It gave it that credence because they just went out there. You can stick that match into modern day manias and it still holds up. It's almost, I would dare to say, completely flawless. Not an ounce of fat on it. Just two of the best going out and doing what they do best. If anything, I could have let it go another 5. I don't care. Like, it's just so good. No changes. Winner stays the same. Everything on it, it's exactly how it is. That match is such a pristine moment in the history of professional wrestling and in WrestleMania. I don't want to change a thing about it.
I love it. I totally agree with you, my friend. I mean, it's so classic. Ending with the small package like it did. Oh man, and just like even the story build up to that too, with like Savage taking out Steamboat and Steamboat having to like relearn to speak and stuff. Like, oh man, it just everything about that matchup. It's textbook.
Also, weird thing that I found out recently: Ricky Steamboat's real name is Richard Blood. Like,
Yeah,
cool.
I should have kept that.
Well, I think he could have kept it if he would have been a heel. Like, it makes it better, but being, I mean, then again, the dragon, like, it's still pretty cool in and of itself. Steamboat, interesting. Like, it's like when they did Southpaw Regional Wrestling, and John Cena was Lance Catamaran. I feel like that had to have been a nod to Steamboat. Like it just had to have been.
Oh yeah.
For the
One,
for the uninitiated, a catamaran is a type of boat. If y'all didn't know.
and now you know, and you're smarter because the wise man told you what it was about.
Oh God! Now that's going to be his new tagline.
If you make a shirt, I would like a percentage. Um, Chrissy, like back to you in the garden. What is your fourth match? Somehow, how are you following Austin and Hart? Because
So we're gonna go to the completely different side of the poll for this. We went from a tech match with Austin and Hart to something that I don't think WWE will ever be able to pull off again. I really think that my next two matches are the epitome of lightning in a bottle moments. And like you stated beforehand, this is going to go back to pandemic era WWE when we thought no one would care. And these two gentlemen, one of them very much specifically made me care so much that it hurt. And it's Cena Fiend. It's the Firefly Funhouse match. And Pat already knows me that it's going to end up on any list I can possibly put it on because I will always sing the praises of that match, of those two men, of Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, especially. We'll never have another mind like Wyndham Rotunda. It's not physically possible for there to be someone else born in our lifetimes that could ever pull off what he was able to pull off. And they've tried before. It was Randy and him in the haunted house match. It was the maggots in the middle of the ring. It was all of these things. It was Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a graveyard the next night. And a lot of people do say that that match was good, and I'm not saying it wasn't, but there's something so special about the just character assassination of John Cena that I don't think we'll ever be able to get that again. And John is very protective of his character, as he should be. He's put in decades of work. He's doing amazing work right now, still being incredibly protective of his character, but he was willing to let all that go for the sake of that match. And that match is like from the NWO references to the 80s. There can only be one big muscly guy as your top guy reference, to even now with Bray having been passed. There's fan theories that I showed this with Patrick recently, where people think that the John Cena that we're dealing with isn't the actual John Cena, that the John Cena that we are used to is still in the funhouse. That the John Cena that came out after that match is a shell of himself, and the real John Cena is still in the funhouse. And that's why the back of John Cena's recent shirt has a door that looks very similar to the Firefly Funhouse door. It's not him saying goodbye and closing the door on us. It's the fact that he can't get back out again. And that's what that's for. And to this day, Bray is still continuing to give us these gifts as fans, to be able to have fun and theorize and be on podcasts like this and make fantasy bookings. And that's what this is for. And he gave that back to me with that match. And that's why that's my halfway point. It's been a lot of hitting heavy. It's been a lot of actual real work, and you need some theatrics. And this is the epitome of theatricality when it comes to WWE, and I don't think anything else is touching it. And it can't go any other way than The Fiend winning. It has to stay the exact same way it was. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's one of those timeless matches. And just like it's the most psychological like presentation of anything I think that I've seen in wrestling. Like it's like a character study breakdown. Like it's so, oh my god, it was just so unheard. It still is kind of hard to wrap your mind around it of what they actually did. Like, I mean, it's just it's you can call it cinema, you can call it whatever, but it is the breaking down of a man who is like the face of the company for so many years, and then just with like everything like they tied into it and stuff, and it's a deep dive. It's like that matchup is like a great like indie movie that gets a lot of like love and attention like over time, a cult classic, if you will. That's the best way to put that matchup. That matchup's a cult classic. So
It really is.
yeah, I like it, especially the fact that you are following that like after Austin and Hart too. It's like just two completely like mind-boggling matches, but on completely different spectrums too. So, um, all right, what in the hell is going to follow the Firefly Funhouse?
So we go from theatric to just something that would pull at your heartstrings, something to kind of pull you back into a very, very real reality. I was here for this one. I was there when the crowd erupted. I was there for everything. I didn't get to see it because I was behind the Titantron, as everyone here knows. But it's Kofi Bryant at 35.
Mm,
It's Kofi Bryant at 35. There's never been, and I was there for the Yes Movement. I saw the Yes Movement. I saw the match on television in New Orleans. I was there. I was there in those moments of time, and I really do love and appreciate Daniel Bryan. I still do. But that moment in time for Kofi was just such a magical moment. And especially in a world right now where people are so divided on things, either it be political or anything else, there was that one moment in time where we were all behind this one specific person. And I really think he felt that. I really, really think he felt that moment when E and Xavier go in and just embrace him. And I felt that. There are certain kinds of bits of love and, just general friendship that you can feel through the screen or feel at a distance. And that love that they have for each other out of kayfabe, you know that that's forever. You know that that's forever. That moment when E reveals that the title is now the original title and presented to Kofi, Kofi's kids running into the ring. Um, Even though there was the accidental reveal of Kofi's merch earlier in the night, and they had to kind of fix it on the spot. There was just that moment of Kofi being on E's and Xavier's shoulders and Xavier sobbing for his friend, their leader, the person that has led them to be where they are as a group. And yeah, very similar to Fiend and Cena. I don't think we're ever going to get that version of New Day again. And that version of New Day was so magical. Being there for that New Day run, from Bootios to pancakes to everything else in between, the Dragon Ball Z references, the Final Fantasy references, it was really a privilege to be able to be there and cognizant in real time when that version of New Day was going down. And I was so proud of Kofi. I'm still incredibly proud of Kofi. I choose not to remember how he lost the title. I just magically put that out of my head. But those 10 minutes of that celebration alone was worth that match. And that's why it's my number 5.
yeah, that story was just so well done, and just how it was like out of nowhere, literally. I mean, you think about we talk about a lot of times in the world of wrestling the trajectory of things. We mentioned it earlier with Stone Cold. What wouldn't have happened if they didn't have this match at Mania, or what would have happened if he didn't win King of the Ring, didn't have the Austin 316 promo, etc. Same goes here. If you don't have the Mustafa Ali injury, then you don't get Kofi Mania, because they were planning on doing Ali against Danielson that year at Mania. It just came out of nowhere, literally. Like they did, that wasn't in WWE's plans to book like, hey, let's book Kofi into the main event of WrestleMania that year, or one of the main event matches. And that was just one of those nat things that just took off. It was natural, like, and it was so well overdue for somebody like Kofi Kingston, who at this point is what, he's probably been in the WWE 15 years or something like that, at least over 10 years.
Well, when at the time of Kofi Mania, it was 12 years.
12,
So I think
okay.
he's at about 15 now.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where it was just like, dude, like so deserving, like, and to have that moment at WrestleMania, like, oh my god, it just everything about it. It's emotional, like, and just you look at the just the New Day and that brotherhood, and just like you said, Christy, just the the love and support of his brothers being right there. It's just like it's a tear jerky moment. It really is, but in a good way, folks. So yeah, love it. Pat. So we just had the technical masterpiece of Savage and Steamboat, and beforehand was the car crash of TLC 2. What is following these two matches? What's
So
your fifth match?
my fifth match, I also picked a match that catapulted a superstar into the main event. However, he did it in the complete opposite way that Kofi did. He did it through absolute savagery. For my fifth match, I have Triple H versus Cactus Jack at WrestleMania 2000. Oh, no, not 2000. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. My notes are bad. But, fuck, I forgot what Mania it is.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they didn't meet at a Mania 1-on-1.
Did they not?
Yeah,
My notes bad?
you're thinking of Royal Rumble 2000.
That's what I'm thinking of. So look, here's what I'm going to do. It's okay. I have caveats. I prepared for these moments just in case because I always come prepared. But
And people say that I'm not the prepared one in the duo. It's insane, XL. I tell you, like the disrespect on my part, it's insane.
it's fine, sweetie. It's fine.
I like
I'm
your
allowed
headphones, Chrissy.
I'm allowed to have one. I'm allowed to have one slip up. It's totally fine.
Oh no, a chink in the armor.
So again, my caveat. Put this one in. Just in one that tugs at my personal heartstrings, especially knowing what came after it and the fallout over the next year or so after that. So for my fifth match, I have Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 20.
Ah, you pivoted and you pivoted well, my friend. He went with Eddie.
That was a decent save, I guess.
Yeah.
So
That's such a good
that match meant so much because Eddie winning the title in general was something that I didn't think was possible. Growing up watching Eddie all the way back from ECW into WCW, when he transitioned into WWE and he literally on his first night in the company shattered his elbow, got fired, came back. Like it was such an uphill battle for Eddie. And going into WrestleMania 20 against Kurt, I feel like Kurt was such the perfect foil for Eddie. He was the white meat babyface Olympian that was not a babyface. Like his lifestyle, his ethics, his everything was so opposite of what Eddie was. But Eddie was such a true, genuine person that he wore it in every match, on his face, in his moves, in his selling, in his promos, everything that Eddie did. You saw Eduardo Guerrero, and it was so inspiring to see. And I know I used that term earlier, but it was something that just you can't replace, you can't copy, you can't mimic. I know that Dom likes to call himself this generation's Eddie, and I've softened myself to that being a deep insult, but there will never be another Eddie ever in this lifetime or the next. There will never be another Eddie Guerrero, and there will never be another Kurt Angle. As Chrissy said earlier when she put Kurt in her lineup, Kurt Angle there's a reason they called Kurt the wrestling machine. Like from WWE starting out Kurt to bald Kurt to he doesn't like the term now, or the term that he was called when he was in TNA. I have now just referred to that time frame as TN Angle because I refuse to call him that because he doesn't want to be called that.
We're not hurting his feelings.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So the fallout of that match, again, and I'm not changing anything. The match stays exactly as it is. The boot, the roll up, the everything, the final shot at the end of Mania with Benoit, knowing that in a year's time they would both be gone. Look, it's one of those things that was 22 Manias ago or 21 Manias ago. And because it was 20 and we're at 41. So yeah, that was 21 Manias ago. So 21 years ago, that match can legally drink. It's
Oh my God.
it's
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
God, I'm old. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's two absolute masters of their craft going out and being absolute masters of their craft. You There's nothing wrong with that match. There's no point in time where you're like, "Oh, that's interesting," or "That's off," or "They missed that. They missed on that." Nothing. And Kurt has gone on record saying that like Eddie could really go and roll and tumble with Kurt. Like they got into a couple of backstage scuffles, but even though Kurt would come out on top, that Eddie could hold his own. And Eddie doesn't have any amateur background, any amateur wrestling training. Eddie was just that good at what he did. And I had to get an Eddie match in there. I just had to. There was no way I was going to have a card like this and not have Eddie Guerrero on it. So, yeah, for the undisputed title, Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle, WrestleMania 20.
You know, one thing I love too about this show so far is like nobody has really changed any of the match because they're just that good. Like everything, like you don't have to change anything. Um, all right, Pat, I'm gonna stay with you. What is your sixth match on your card?
All right. Possibly a controversial take. Who knows? But I've spoken to Chrissy about this. Usually around Mania season, right like midway between Chamber and Mania, and then until like a week or so, maybe even a month or so, depending past Mania, I experience wrestling burnout. There's so much wrestling all of the time, nonstop. And since starting doing content creation, having to feel like I need to cover everything and speak on everything, I get burnt out very fast. However, this match kept me very excited after last year's WrestleMania. So for my sixth match, I have Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Love it. Oh man, dude, Pat, I can tell you, dude, I've been very blessed to go to a lot of cool shows, and that being my first Mania in person, and just being there, that crowd. Oh my god, it was so good.
Yeah. The the match in and of itself is incredible.
Mhm.
I will stand on any hill and fight anybody that tries to argue that Roman Reigns is boring. Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. Tribal Chief Roman Reigns is one of, if not the greatest character in wrestling in the past 10 years. The Fiend follows or is right up on par with that. But Tribal Chief Roman, head of the table Roman Reigns, completely shifted the landscape of professional wrestling. Hands down, it's not even close. And Roman does it with this ability to make you watch wrestling because of how the pace he carries. He's deliberate. He's methodical. He talks to the audience. He talks to his opponents. He makes you pay attention to wrestling. And this match, even before the Avengers Endgame level of run-ins at the end of the match, which was incredible. Shout out to Taker, Cena, Rock, Rollins again. It's a good match. It's literally one of the best and probably most basic outline of babyface versus heel matches that you can see. Cody was the new shiny toy, and he was the one who was going to finish the story that he couldn't finish the year before because this man stood in his way. And that I remember still vividly have that imprint of watching that match with my sons, us freaking out at every spot, at every entrance music hitting, the final pin at the end, Samantha can barely keep her words together announcing Cody as the winner, the shot of Seth sitting on the floor right by the title in tears knowing that Cody was going to take over, the backstage shot of Roman hugging Paul up the ramp. And I feel like a lot of people were like, well, he's crying because he lost the title. I think it was so much more than that. I feel like it was Roman being able to breathe and being able to say, I'm okay, Paul. Like I've done it. I've done what I needed to do over the past 3-4 years, and I can pass the title and the mantle of the face of the company on to someone else, and I can go and relax and I can take a breath. And for someone who does not only appreciates Roman Reigns but appreciates Joe Anawati, like that match is so good. Is it overbooked to indie levels of all hell? Probably, but I don't care. It's so good. I love that match. And that's despite it being Titanic levels of long, I still go back and watch it often. It's good. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
one that you can just stick in and just have playing, and it's just a good match, man. And uh I'll never ever discredit Cody. I am not the hugest Cody Rhodes fan, but I will never ever discredit how important he was and how necessary he was to that story. And thank you, Mr. Runnels, Mr. Rhodes, whichever you prefer to be called. Thank you for making The Rock change his fucking plans.
Yeah. Yeah, the just dude, I'm telling you, man, the last 15 minutes of that matchup, we were all standing. Like that whole like at the Lincoln Financial Field, we were all standing. Like it was just like bonkers, that Avengers Endgame like ending. I will say this, if I was to change one thing, I wouldn't change the finish. And although I love him, but I think a lot of us were expecting Stone Cold to be the guy to come
That
out.
that is
That's
that
the
is
one
one
thing I would
change.
change.
That is one change I would make. I understand that Austin couldn't be there. They were scrambling. Apparently, according to Taker in his interview with Chris Van Vliet, he was up in the box drinking.
Yeah.
He was having a good old time, and they came and grabbed him like, "Hey, we need you to do something." And then he just ran down to the ring really quick, and they got him down there. Shout out to Mark Calloway for still being able to move that quickly, because he said he didn't get called until the match was going on. Like, I'm curious to backstage booking or anything like that. Like, what was your plan elsewise? Like, who else but Taker? I mean, obviously Dusty's not going to come out. That ain't gonna
Maybe
happen.
maybe they would have just stuck with like the shield thing. I'm
Maybe,
guessing.
possibly,
Maybe
but
that's what it was.
either
Yeah.
way, either way,
It
yeah,
worked.
I'd
It
flop
was
that. Let bring in Austin. We're gonna be in Dallas. He's not. Let him come home. I know Taker's a Texas boy too, but still.
yeah. All right, man. Excellent show so far, Pat. But Chrissy, let's go back to the garden. What is your sixth matchup on your dream card?
Well, this is WrestleMania 39, and it is a match that I really, really didn't think I would enjoy as much as I thought I was going to. Pat mentioned a women's match earlier in the night, Bianca and Sasha, and as it deserves its graces, it was an incredible match. This one for me, really catapulted one particular person. Was their title reign the best? No, but the moment in which they won it was amazing, and that's Rhea and Charlotte.
Mm, yeah.
That's Rhea and Charlotte. Rhea getting, I believe she was played out to Motionless in White that Mania.
No, that was
Oh no,
42nd.
that was 40. That was 40.
So I think, yeah, no, she wasn't played out by them, but I think there was like talks that year, and then they just ended up doing it last year.
That's what it was. But yeah, like that match was insane. That match really showed that Rhea actually can go. And a lot of people believe that she was just, like an internet thirst trap. She was a gothic trap. Like she was just tall and muscular, but not much behind her in ring. Unfortunately, a lot of people weren't aware of her back in like NXT UK and the Mae Young Classic and things of that nature. But man, that match between Rhea and Charlotte just showed me just how serious Rhea Ripley is as a competitor, how much Charlotte has the capability of leading a match, of giving the young upstart, giving the young talent that rub that's needed, and selling. Everything was sold perfectly. I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't touch a thing. Rhea gets the title. The match ends the exact way that it does. And I was debating between that and Mania 35 with Becky, Charlotte, Ronda. And don't get me wrong, it was the very last Mania that was one night. I'm pretty sure that match alone lasted 3 hours. It was a very long match, but if we're going to call a spade here, it was not all three individual women's best work. Becky was the man at that point, extremely hot. Charlotte was
The same
still,
that she's been for the past fucking decade.
let's don't get me wrong, I did love the helicopter entrance. I did love the nod to her father. And then, Rhonda. There's also
Mm.
that. But yeah, like if we're going just straight from wrestling, no celebrities, no people coming in to get a pop, just two people that have been there day one. This is probably some of their best individual work. Like if you go back into Charlotte's cavalcade of best matches, this is going to be there in years from now. When you look back at Rhea's best matches on her top 10 list on WWE's YouTube page, this match is going to be there, and it always will be. And it's nice, it's clean, it's concise, it's not too much. Like Patrick said earlier, there's not a lot of fat on it. It's just straight to the point. And I think that's what both of them really needed at that point in their career. There was a lot of pomp and circumstance around both of them. So to see both of them just be able to go and get the job done and shut everyone up was just such a nice thing to see. So that's why that's my number 6.
I love that matchup. I adore that matchup. It's man, that Mania was so unique that year because like you go from that and you follow it like a lot of people thought that should have been the main event, but then also at the same time, dude, it's like, dude, the Usos against Sammy and KO, that has to be the main event. Like, and both were just you know what, guys? Like, honestly, if you look back in the history of WrestleMania, probably the best last two matches to close the show at Mania is that one on night one of WrestleMania 39. I mean, God, the Charlotte and the thing I always remember a lot about that is the end of that, and just you remember Charlotte's reactions where she's just in tears, and it's like you can tell it's not because she's oh I'm upset I lost the belt or whatever. It's because she almost kind of feels like she finally got like that true WrestleMania marquee matchup, because they told such a great story.
I think it almost goes, and don't get me wrong, I would hate to give him credit, but I think it goes very similar to what Pat said when it came to Roman and Paul. It's not him crying that he lost. It's him having that weight off of his shoulders, knowing that something was achieved and they can just tick it off of their list. With Roman, it was him being done with his incredible Tribal Chief run. With Charlotte, it was that, like you said, it was that marquee match that she can finally have that WrestleMania moment, because she's been in pay-per-view main events beforehand. She's won titles, but she had never had a match like that up until that point.
No.
So knowing that she can be at ease, knowing that people know that she really can go, and having that be the example, I I would be emotional too. And it was the same thing with Rhea. I know that Charlotte was absolutely elated for Rhea. Unfortunately, what happened afterwards with Rhea and the title happened, but man, that moment in time for Rhea and Charlotte was just so special. And just being a huge advocate for women's wrestling, I always hold that match in incredibly high regard.
Excellent. Well, we're down to the nitty gritty here. It is semi-main event time. Chrissy, what is going to follow that classic Rhea and Charlotte
Ugh.
matchup?
This is These last two matches, my semi-main and my main, are just very, very. This might lose me everything, XL, and I'm going to be really, really honest with you, because I'm booking with my heart and not with my head. And my semi-main event is HBK Flair at Mania 24.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I love you. It's burned into all of our brains. It will never go away. That image of Ric Flair shaking at the knees, barely able to keep his hands up, bleeding, sobbing, and Sean with that 1,000-yard stare not looking really at Rick, but looking past him almost to all of their experiences together, and just knowing that he has to be the one to close that chapter of Flair's book, and not wanting to do it. That was his friend, his mentor, everything to him, but he was the one that was bestowed the honor upon, and he had to. He didn't want to, he had to. And very similar to this podcast right now, I don't want to beat Pat, but I have to. This is what this is for me. And being an HBK girl, us both of us being HBK fans, there was a huge debate on which HBK match I was going to have, because there was no way I wasn't going to have an HBK match. Knowing that he's not number one is almost kind of surprising even to myself. But this one in particular, only because of the emotion behind it, that's why this is the HBK match that I picked. And that's why it's my number 7. And it stays the same way. Flair not only loses the match, but he actually retires. Like, actually retires.
Mm-hmm.
And man, what a world we would live in if that actually happened. But yeah, it goes the exact same way that it went. Sometimes things hurt. Sometimes you do things you don't want to do, and that's the epitome of that for me. And
Yeah.
seeing how this pod goes, seeing what our last 2 matches go, it's just gonna see who gets the super kick at the end.
Yeah. But you need to make sure that at the end you say, "I'm sorry, I love you." Just don't forget that's very important. Man, I mean, this is a wonderful choice, I think, and kudos to you. You could have chosen any Shawn matchup. The fact that you chose this one, I think, is awesome because I think of Shawn's work, and like I say, I'm a Brett guy, but like you can't deny Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania. Like you look at the succession of the runs of matches that he had throughout the history of WrestleMania, especially like his second run. There's not really a bad matchup. I mean, for God's sakes, he even got a good match out of Vince McMahon. Like that speaks volumes. So I just this as a Flair guy, I do appreciate and love that you chose this one because it's such an emotional moment. And you got a lot of great emotional moments on your card. So do you, Pat. But coming back to you, Pat, what is your semi-main event on your card, your Dream WrestleMania card at AT&T Stadium?
God damn you, Chrissy. So I actually thought I was going to have her with this one. But again, despite our creative differences and despite that we light a fire up underneath each other, we are still inevitably best friends. And we think very much alike. But I couldn't leave it off. Absolutely couldn't. So for my semi-main, I have the Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh, shit.
And that
Okay.
is why I didn't speak during her breakdown of the match, because I wanted to wait and get out my thoughts.
Go ahead, my friend.
I have said before many times, and I will probably say it again many times when discussing this match. I cannot believe that WWE let this happen. Not only a complete character assassination of their golden goose for the past 15 years or however long it was until that point, but an assassination of the company itself. He took down everything. And Wyndham Rotunda, despite when you really, really look back on it, the very, very short time he was inside of the squared circle and inside of WWE, will go down as one of the greatest wrestling minds in history. Everything about that entire, if you can call it a match, just about that segment, that story, that, as you mentioned, that cult classic of a moment in history. What I didn't really realize until I went back and watched it even, and I've watched that match at nauseum. If there's a million views on it on YouTube, probably like 500,000 are mine. Like I watch that match constantly. But something I never really picked up on up until recently is, as much as I love the Fiend, he's not there for most of the match. He shows up at the end, but it's Bray the entire time. It's Bray just being almost this, and I know it's cliche to make the comparison with the game, but this almost Joker-like character just toying with John. And all the credit in the world to John Cena for agreeing to it and playing along, him being a better actor than he is in some of his movies, with the weights segment where he can't lift his arms anymore, him completely selling the NWO entrance with the Too Sweet and playing the belt like a guitar like Hogan did. Like it's such a character study of both of them to just sit there and watch two of wrestling's at the time, and even going forward in past, great minds. Just they sat down in a room together and said, this is what we're going to do, and people are going to love it. And people were in awe. And as Chrissy alluded to it, like the Boneyard match was fine. The weird Hunt Wyatt compound match, even if you go back to what I consider the first cinematic match, the broken match in TNA with Matt and Jeff, like all the way down to Stadium Stampede in AEW during COVID. Like this match is, again, I don't even consider it really a match. It's just a moment. It's so interesting. And I wish I could come up with something more profound and more thought-provoking to call it, but that's genuinely what it is. It's such an interesting thing to watch. And if you haven't seen it, anybody watching, please take 20 minutes out of your day and go watch the Firefly Funhouse match. It's so good. And I genuinely almost considered putting the Fiend and Randy and just swapping the winner, because the Fiend should have won that fucking match.
Oh, 100.
But this match is something that I can never put away. It's in the grand scheme of things, when you really look at it, for the short time that Bray was there, Bray's very quickly entered my top 5 favorite wrestlers. And it's not anything to do with his in-ring work. No, I'm not shading him in any way. Bray can go, especially for his size. That man can move. Mm-hmm. But just the character work. I'm always someone who prefers character over moves. And there are exceptions. Shawn, Ospreay, Gresham, Brett, but there's just something so special about Bray Wyatt, about Wyndham Rotunda, from the Max Cady Backwoods character to, even though it came off as odd and weird, I was genuinely interested in the Sister Abigail versus Fiend thing before everybody got mumps or whatever the hell everybody caught. Like, it was something. But I mean, shout out, we got AJ and Finn out of that one, so I'm not, right place, right time type thing. But yeah, there's nothing else to say other than I love that match. It's so good, and I'm probably gonna go watch it after this podcast is over, just because I want to watch it again.
That's how you know it's the all-time classic, man. So hell yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that you both had that on your list as well. But Pat, here we are. It's time for the main event of WrestleMania at AT&T Stadium. How are you sending the people home? You gonna send them home happy? How are you gonna do it?
I had a lot of options here. There are several honorable mentions and ones that I tossed around. I moved in and out of its place, but it just kept coming back. And of course, me being a Shawn guy, it had to be an HBK match. My main event of my WrestleMania inside AT&T Stadium is Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26, not 25.
So we're going with the career match. Okay.
We are going career versus streak.
Mm-hmm.
The build to this match is incredible. From the spark at Shawn accepting the SB to the dissolution and driven to madness that Shawn experienced from kicking Hunter out of the Rumble, to him getting eliminated, to him showing up at Chamber, which led to Jericho winning the title, who Shawn actually had beef with. Like, just everything about this, the lead up to this match, all the way up to what I consider, possible hot take here, the greatest wrestling video package of all time, with the running up that hill video package. Yes, it is my favorite of all time. I will hear no other discussions. There are other great ones. Daniel Bryan's Monster, My Way, Austin and Hogan. Yeah, all great ones. Even I love Taker Bray, Taker Punk. Like, great, all great packages. But for me, just number one, hands down, it's HBK and Taker. That segment or that promo is great. The match in and of itself, again, it's just one of those ones that I just go back and watch, and it's long. It's a lot longer than you remember it.
It was like 30 some minutes or something.
Yeah, it's not Triple H Undertaker long, but it's still long. Shout out to that Hell in a Cell match. That almost made it. That almost did, but I couldn't leave HBK not competing. But that is my main event, because that, as it should have, and as it should have the year before, is the main event of WrestleMania. Mr. WrestleMania versus what I consider Mr. WWE.
Yeah. And Mr. WrestleMania against the Streak too. I mean,
yes, the Streak, which was the, it was so much something that, like, people were vying to face Taker above championship matches. Like, and they were vying to go against Taker to lose. They just wanted to be a part of that legacy, be a part of that history. And when you have something that undeniable, that intrinsical moment in wrestling history, that you would rather be in a match that's not for a world title and lose just to be a part of that legacy, that is something special. And that is why it is my main event. And Shawn wins.
Oh, so the streak ends. Now, let me ask you this. Are you saying that because you're a Shawn guy, or are you saying that because you know in reality how the streak ended, not a big fan of, like most?
I'm not a fan of how the streak ended. I'm not. However, after Shawn, if you kept everything the same as it was, you would still get the 200 matches, which were great. But I don't think Hunter, if we're comparing Hunter to Shawn, I don't think Hunter should beat the streak. After that, the only person who I saw as a viable option that should have broken it, even though it was already broken by that point, was Bray. So if we're going by just the logic, and just by, again, it's as much as I hate, and it makes my skin crawl to give him credit, it's Vince McMahon's two greatest creations, with the exception of WWE in and of itself, even though it wasn't his original creation, but you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
It's the two greatest characters that he's ever created, and one that carried a legacy so far into the Super Bowl of wrestling. And I feel like the only person that should have broken it is the other greatest creation. It's like Superman and Batman. Like, it's the two greatest going against each other. And while, what was it? That was 26. He lost it at 30. So he had 4 matches. Well, technically 3, because he loses it in the 4th. He had 3 matches after that, which were 2 of Hunter and Punk. Yeah, I feel like if it should have ended there. Yes, it's not a round number, but just in the aspects of everything, And even Sean has said that it wasn't until the morning of that he woke up and decided, okay, I'm okay with being done. Granted, he did come back for one more, but we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not
We're not
talking
talking.
dirty Saudi money.
We
No, no,
won't. We
no.
will not do that. No. But if he doesn't wake up and have that epiphany, if he doesn't have that moment of clarity, and we could have gotten 2, 3, 4 more years of Shawn Michaels, yeah, take my money, sign me up, VIP passes, I'm there,
Mm.
because again, like this all ties into the second run, like Jericho, Cena, Taker again, like we could have, if Sean wins that, we could have gotten Taker Sean, or Sean Hunter at Mania. We could have gotten the introduction of Sean Rollins, like depending on how far Sean Punk, somebody. Like there
Yeah.
are so many roads that could have been taken if Sean stuck around, and I would have loved for him to do so. Don't get me wrong, all the power in the world for him and everything he is doing in NXT. They're running a great ship down there. They're doing good things, but for the main event of my WrestleMania, Sean wins and defeats the streak to end the show.
It's a damn good way to end it, man. Damn good way to end it. Like, what a pivotal moment that would be if Sean's not only saves his career but ends the Undertaker's immortal streak. All right, Chrissy, I'm coming back to you. We're in the garden. How in the world are you going to top this? What is the main event of your dream WrestleMania card?
I
This was
already know what it is.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. I
Okay.
bet money in my soul that he doesn't know what it is.
Okay.
Because this was really hard for me to pick. This is really hard for me to pick. Like we've said, over 40 years of history here. One thing I did promise myself is that there would be no Terry Bollea, because why? Fuck Terry
Fuck
Bollea.
Terry Bollea.
Goddamn
Yeah.
right. Just so many technical matches I could have gone for. I could have gone for the mark picks, and it would have been easier that way, probably. But this is so dear to me for one specific reason. And the reason why we're here is this friendship that I have with Pat. Last year was really, really hard for me. Last year, Mania time was incredibly hard for me. And while Pat was there with his sons, freaking out about Mania, he was also freaking out with me via Instagram text. And the most that we were freaking out on was Cody Roman at Mania 40.
Mm,
It's Cody Roman
yes.
at Mania 40. It's the Avengers Endgame of this thing that we love called professional wrestling. It's the closing of a 4-book series, this saga that we've all had been riding that wave on for the past 4 years. Roman was a tribal chief
Mhm.
with, and it was the Undertaker's gong hitting and the lights going out. It was my heart jumping into my throat when the Shield music hit. It was Kevin and Sammy coming out to aid Cody when the Usos and Solo were there. It was Cena coming out. Um it was all of that for me. It was the end with Cody being hoisted up onto everyone's shoulders. It was afterwards, I believe he was presented with Dusty's watch
Mhm.
after that match, and it was just, you could feel it was the ending of an era and the beginning of a new one. It
Yes.
was such an obvious turn in time when that Mania ended because of that match. And you can see, if you look really close in the replays, as that 3 count hits, a smile comes across Roman's face
Mhm.
because he knows that they did that. He knows how successful they were. And not only did that match do it for me, but there's one particular moment in time when Roman has to decide between hitting Seth and hitting Cody. And I loved the Roman and Cody dynamic, but I'm even more excited for what that match has given us and what's going to facilitate in this upcoming Mania next week, Saturday.
Mhm.
And that is the storyline that continues with Roman and Seth. Mom and dad are continuously fighting. And that moment in time where Roman went with his heart and not with his head, and that's what cost him the title. It was a risk, but he took it, and that's what I'm doing with mine. I'm going with my heart and not with my head, and that's why Mania 40 is my choice.
It's a wonderful choice. It really is, because I mean, just everything about it. You think of the build for the. I can personally attest to it from a sense of like, I once 39 took place and how it went down. I knew in my heart of hearts, like, okay, 40, it's gonna be Cody's gonna get it. That's gonna be his moment. And I knew, I was like, you know what? As long as I've been on this earth, I have to get to WrestleMania at some point. This has to be the one I'm going to. And like I was so, like I say, I'm so blessed that I got to be there, and for that to be my first WrestleMania and in person, you couldn't have wrote it any better. Like you really couldn't have. Like just the build to that, because remember too that hell, in from January to February there, we didn't think that's what we were getting. We thought, okay, they're doing Roman and Brock, which is fine and all, but I didn't really like. I was so invested in Cody's story. It's like I want to see that. I want to see how this is going to go. If anybody's going to take down Roman, it's got to be him. It's got to be something authentic. It can't be just like Brock comes in and it's just like that would have. Honestly, if they would have done that, the trajectory I think of where WWE would be now would not be the same. I think it would have really hindered the product. Um, and it's one of those things too. This WrestleMania was special for a multitude of reasons, but to me, it's also special because this is the first in that new era. This was the first WrestleMania where Vince McMahon was not behind the scenes, and you could tell because it was fucking wonderful. It was magic. It's what a WrestleMania should be. Yes, everything about this match is wonderful, but.
Yeah.
And I love that literally I think you each had 3 of the same matches on your cards. That twin
did.
magic, and I'm not talking the Bella twins. I'm
I'm
talking Pat and Chrissy here.
It,
But both,
breaking down the kayfabe wall for a moment. There's for anybody who, for any moment in time, for any period of time, that has joined the lives that me and Chrissy do or did and will continue to do in the near future, we get on each other's nerves. That's not a secret. It's not. I am very, very tough to deal with. I'll fully admit that. However, doing what we do in this space of content creation, we come across many passing faces, short-term friendships, even some friendships that last long-term, things like that. When I tell you that Chrissy literally showed up out of the blue, and through just happenstance, literal just, hey, do you happen to know info on this subject? I need some help. And it just so happened that I was very knowledgeable in subjects she needed help with. And that basically lighting the match of our friendship. And just over the past year, finding out that we make the joke about it, and Chrissy alludes to it being annoying, but we are so similarly alike. It's almost strange. Like, from our love of wrestling to our favorite wrestlers, to our favorite matches, to our favorite movies, music, you name it. Me and Chrissy are so intrinsically linked. It's scary. It's very strange. And that friendship, that relationship that me and Chrissy has, is one I will never ever take for granted. I am someone who, that due to being a military brat, friendships are short-lived. You don't hold on to people for very long because you don't live in one place long enough to hold on to those friendships. 3 to 4 years later, you're out the door and you pick up and start again. And then even once I graduated high school, I was out of high school a couple of years, and then I had a kid, and everyone decided, oh, he's left. It's our show now, Chrissy.
That was the plan the entire time.
This beautiful speech, and I just my tears are falling down. So I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you're fine. You're fine, Jeremy. But yeah, friends came and go very often. I was someone who just was like, I'm just not gonna have a lot of close friends. And then I met you, Chrissy. And despite everything that we have been through back and forth over the past year, I wouldn't trade you for the world. And I don't ever want to lose you. You are my best friend. And I mean that in the truest form and sense of the word. You are my best friend. And this officially today is our 1 year of being friends. How strange that it just happened to fall on the day that we are one day rivals. But win, lose, draw, whatever you want to call it, it's been a blast. And thank you, Jeremy, for having us on together. My speech is
Of course.
done. I've run out of things to say.
Did I miss something there? No. That was
What happened?
very poetic, Pat. I love that, and that the irony here, too. The fact that your guys' anniversary. That's so cool, man. That's so cool. It's amazing how this world of like content creation and just our love for pro wrestling has brought everybody together. It's definitely a so many family members, so many people who I've met personally, you two included, of course, as well. It's a pretty awesome feeling. It's like it's like I've said for years, it's like, oh, okay, it's like I like pro wrestling, but now like you can be your true authentic self, and like just we can talk about like more. It's beyond talking wrestling too, man. Beyond talking like it's just. The family is I can't describe the amount of love that like is expressed in like everybody's like inner circle. It's really it's you can't put words on it how important it is. So thank you for sharing. Now you're getting me all emotional.
Got very, very lucky with you guys. Very, very lucky with you guys. Like, if it wasn't for like XLJ, I wouldn't have had the platform that I had to meet Pat and the others. If it wasn't for the shout out that you and B-Roll did for me, and I know you did one for Pat as well a while beforehand. And like you said, it is family. It is family, and it's such a specific term to use because family is what you're born into. You're supposed to make friends, but you're born into family. But I've been very blessed to be able to choose the family that I have around me, and you both are very, very much a part of that. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have fallen back in love with wrestling the way that I did. So, in the most non-kayfabe way possible, I love you both so much. Pat, you already, I don't have to say, and yeah, now it's time to know how badly I wiped Pat with the floor.
I mean, they're both really good cards. I love Bianca and Sasha opening. I love that. And then you fall with Brett and Owen and the TLC and
I'm not gonna
Savage
lie, I was so
Bingo.
pissed off when you said fucking Bianca and Sasha first. I was gonna have that on my fucking card, only if not just for that whip that Bianca hits Sasha with across the stomach and she slices her open.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Full disclosure, again, this goes into the two minds alike thing. On the fly, I adjusted my card because my opening match was TLC 2.
Shut up! I hate it so much.
Look at you.
So on the fly, I had to move. I
God.
swapped their spots.
Well played, sir. Well
Jesus.
played.
We're
But
disgusting. We really are. I hate us.
I just love this. Like literally, if you put a percentage, you guys literally half of your card is like
It's the same.
yeah, it's the same, but just in different spots and
I
stuff.
mean, you
Oh,
had to have known this was going to happen, Chrissy, that we were
Oh,
going to
also,
have something.
Kurt Benoit beat out Eddie Angle by like a fucking centimeter, by like an inch.
yeah,
Oh my god.
both great matches. That would have been hilarious because if you would have had that, then you literally would have had half your cards.
It would have been
the same.
exactly half.
So
Yeah, I couldn't
But-
have made. I couldn't have. I'm just letting anybody watching, and if it's feasible in the structure of whatever prompt Jeremy gives me, in any fantasy booking I do, if it's feasible and it's in the prompt, Eddie is going to be on my card somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just gonna
Oh, yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
So
that's understandable.
hard, man.
That's completely understandable. But oh man, they're both so good cards, but my god. Like what an emotional journey we go on in Madison Square Garden with from Austin and Hart to the Firefly Funhouse to Kofi Mania running wild to Rhea earning the right as the next heir to the throne or whatever you want to call it. The I'm sorry I love you. You literally like your semi and your main are probably easily in the top 5 most emotional moments in WrestleMania history. And because it is in the Garden, the most historic venue, Pat, I'm sorry. I love you. I have to go with Chrissy on this one.
You know what that means, Pat?
So, Jeremy, I made sure to wait until after you gave your decision because she wanted to announce it before. But me and Christy made a deal
Oh.
that if I lost, I would strip on camera.
We're about to get to these viewers, babe.
So, Christy, I will say I don't have my glasses on me. I am sorry.
Aw.
But
That's okay.
however,
Here, I can help. I can help.
Take it up. Take it up. Take it up. Lejos Familia podcast. I am so happy to accept this award on behalf of the XLJ, the OG, and the PW60 family. My name is Chrissy Tina across all social media platforms. Please make sure that you're keeping an eye out for the Lejos Familia podcast across all social media platforms as well. This hunky piece of meat over here is my best friend, my podcast partner, Pat B. Wiseman. You can catch him on TikTok, where not only is he incredibly talented with wrestling knowledge, he's also super talented in streetwear knowledge, and he just likes roasting people because he fucking hates everyone but me, and also XLJ as well. Please make sure that you check us out, or check me out, on the WrestleMania weekend during WrestleCon, where your girl is going to be meeting Toni Storm and also Mariah May, and also taking pictures with whoever wants to see me out there. I will be making sure to meet up with XLJ because that's what family does. We link up and we hang out. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I buy my boy Pat a shirt because, God, he's probably cold right now. But ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you look at the view. Love the view. Ooh, it's so good, isn't it? It's so good. The music does a lot. The music does way more than I thought it was going to. Ooh, my Lord. Jeremy, I love you, baby. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. If you need help warming up, I think we can make that happen, bro. Like I'm just saying.
you know what? I've never been so happy to have lost. If I had to lose to anyone, I'm glad it was Chrissy.
There
Make
you
no
go.
mistake that we will run this back.
Oh yes.
However, Mr. XLJ, the OG, I understand it is your show, but we're going to run this back on my terms. I will be choosing the prompt that we run against for our rematch.
Okay.
And make no mistake, my lovely best friend, the wise man, is coming to play.
Oh, I like it. I smell a sequel coming, and I'm here for it. Oh my goodness! What a wonderful hot episode. What show is this again? Oh yeah, Fantasy Warfare. Like I forgot which channel I'm on. Yeah, Fantasy Warfare here on World Championship Wreckage. Dad Hat, you're welcome for the ratings. Um, you know, send the check to Pat and Chrissy. Wow. I don't know what more to say to that than thank you both so much for coming on, and please make sure you do check them out on their social media platforms. I mean, why would you not want to check them out? I'm just saying. And of course, you can catch me over on Cole TV. But thank you both so much for coming on this very special WrestleMania edition of Fantasy Warfare. And as always, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time, we'll see you on another episode of Fantasy Warfare. Hachi Machi.